Hello everybody, Dziker here, and today I'm going to share with you guys my low power, grassroots, very faithful and as much as it possible realistic drift build. Oh, that was long. Let's jump straight away how to build this. So we go to the upgrade and tuning, custom upgrade. Well, I'm going to show you first power because we are aiming at 280 brake horsepower and power to weight ratio about 0.25, 0.26. That can be still considered as a low power. Going even lower in Forza Horizon is not as pleasant because I tested a build in 260 brake horsepower and it requires a lot of skill and practice. So let's go. Intake, sport intake, intake manifold, standard, fuel system, standard, ignition, standard, exhaust, race exhaust. Because it sounds like a straight pipe, of course, and it gives power. Camshaft. We go for the sport cams and valves. Valves, sport valves, displacement, standard, pistons, standard, oil and cooling, sport cooling, flywheel, the lightest one. And now we go to the platform and handling. Brakes, the best ones, because it's very super important and I'll tell you later on why. Spring and dampers, of course, drift. Front and rear anti-roll bar, race one. Chassis reinforcement, street chassis reinforcement, okay, and weight reduction to the maximum. So waist rate reduction. And that gives that balance. When it comes to the tires and rims. Rims, of course, the lightest ones possible. Tire compound, stock with stock. The only thing that I changed is the width to maximum in the front and the rear. Body kit, wherever you like, as long as you're not taking Forza Horizon 1 because that gives a lot of more of a downforce and stuff like that. So choose the one that appeals to you the most and go with it. That's it from the build. Why I'm not sharing that tuning as a code? Because I'm constantly tweaking something and changing. Because wherever you want from the car, you will have to change. But in general, it works right now in almost any condition in terms of low power. So yes, I'm gonna share the code under that video, but believe me, I really want to give you the carrot, not the rod. Wait, the rod, not the carrot. So giving you a code is like giving you a carrot, but explaining you more or less what works and how is giving you a rod, and that's what I'm aiming to. So the grassroots drifters in Europe, the low power cars, usually gets the rear to as much as it possible. Well, not till it explodes, but you know, reasonably, like 3.8 bar. Some people do even 4, and you can't do that. If you have a PSI in your Forza Horizon, you'll have to just convert it on visually set up the way that it is. Front was stock and rear to maximum, basically. Now, the most important thing, that's the gearing from Assetto Corsa. That is in one of my favorite low power IS200 drift cars. Trust me, this gearing is perfect for low power and it will work in any low power build. I made a Chaser on that, I made a Miata, and I'm planning to make a Soarer and maybe 240 RSX if I'll win it in the wheel speed. Alignment. Front camber on the maximum negative, because if you have that, you have more grip when you're going a high angle and less grip with the front tires when you're going on a straight. Reducing that will make everything opposite. So you have all the options very nicely explained on the right side, but there is something that Forza is not explaining, and I'll tell you in a moment. Remember the caster. I hope that everybody knows what the caster is. We have maximum of 7 degrees, and those real low power drift builds, people do between 8-10 degrees on the caster, and we can't have that here. But in theory, we can, and that's the most important thing that nobody is talking about when it comes to Forza. But first, anti-roll bar. So what people really do in the low power cars like Miata in real life, to keep the front softer than the rear, they delete the front stabilizer. There is nothing, so it's softer and it provokes drift easier. So guys, just copy paste that setting, and if you will increase the power of your build, you will add a turbo wherever, you will have to increase, but in the same proportion, stiffness of front and rear anti-roll bars. Springs, the same thing applies here. The front springs a bit softer, rear springs harder. It makes the drifting low power easier, trust me. And now, you remember what I was talking about the caster? That we have in Forza apparently 7 degrees, yeah? But if we'll raise the front to maximum and rear to minimum, we are gaining that extra 2-3 degrees. So instead of 7, we might have actually right now about 10 degrees of caster. And that's what we want, because caster makes your steering wheel self-center much faster. So it's good for counter steering, etc, etc. And this build works on the gamepad as well as the steering wheel, but primarily I made it for a steering wheel. Damping, also copy paste that. We are still going for a softer front and stiffer rear because we are low power, baby. That one we don't have. And now, another very important thing that is very, very realistic that allows us to left foot brake efficiently, not killing the power of our low power engine. So in the real life situation, when people put a hydro handbrake, instead of running second caliper on the rear for the hydro handbrake and they are on the budget, they use the existing caliper for hydro handbrake, which takes off completely rear brakes from your brake pedal. So your brake pedal activates only the front brakes and lower the pressure to not be too aggressive, okay? You'll be able to left foot brake, to slow down in the corners with a full power, and it's helpful when it comes to chasing. I do it in the Formula Drift cars as well here in Forza Horizon. Differential, acceleration 100%, deceleration 0. Why? Because it simulates welded differential, or spool differential, as other games say. So we go welded diff, baby. And that was it. So the things that I usually change is mostly toe. I'm still experimenting. You can try your toe on a slide in, slide out. It will change how car behaves. Because toe out gives a quicker reaction on the steering wheel. It's easier to initiate and the car is much more eager to get the angle, which makes it much less stable. On the straight, of course. So when it comes to the front, toe in is never used in drifting. Toe in on the rear gives more stable drift. It's a little bit less aggressive transitions, but everything else makes it actually more aggressive in this build. So toe out in the rear gives actually much more aggressive transition, and car is eager to rotate faster. So we need to be very careful and be good with the throttle control. If you will get that toe in, it will get a little bit more stable and a little bit more lazy in drift. So as I said, better to do this setup yourself rather than use a share code, because you'll be able to tweak it out to your likings. Just don't tweak it too much out of it, because I spent on this setup like 5-6 hours. Well, actually now over a week, because I'm constantly changing something, and I think for Altezza it's perfect. I tried to apply that drift tune to Chaser, to Miata, and it works, but it needs a little bit more of tweaking to be perfect, like for this car. Right, so I made a track at Yashki house, and it's perfect for low power. So let me do the handbrake turn. So what we will be doing, we'll be clutch kicking, and we'll do left foot braking, well, in theory, to slow down and tighten up the corners. So I will talk a little bit less because I don't want to crash. I'm not the best pad drifter, but it works on the pad as well. Later on, I'll jump on my triple 50-inch POV setup, and I'm recording in full HD. I'm sorry for that, guys, because running 3 times 4K, it would be devastating for my 5070 Ti. And right now I'm running on the triple TV, but I'm just recording the mid one. All right, let's go. First test with a pad, second gear, clutch kick, and let's go. So this track has a nice, cool drop over here. Oi, a little bit too much. We'll get it on the second lap. Left foot braking to tighten up. And clutch kick, and let's go. We keep going, and left foot brake. See, I slowed down and tighten up the corner. Clutch kick. I'm missing the zones right now that I build by myself, because As I said, when it comes to drifting on the pad, I'm much more better on the wheel. Last roundabout to go around, like in Europe we do. And over here, and let me try to shred the second lap. Oh, maybe not. Damn it. Okay guys, maybe I'll just try a very last time to execute the jump down like I do on the wheel. Or maybe not. Yes. Yes. And left foot brake. Yes, finally. Okay, that was dope. That was really sick. And that's how I shred my track. Left foot brake, clutch kick, clutch kick, clutch kick on the transition, and let's go. So a little bit of spin. So that's what we like, guys. That's what we should really do. That's as close as it can get to grassroots drifting, because all those drift zones and all those crazy high scores and people recording going easy drift, 4-wheel drive, crazy points, that shouldn't really count, guys. I know that everybody deserves to enjoy the game the way that they like, but come on. Grassroots drifting is low power and rear-wheel drive, and we should stay with that. Okay guys, let's jump on POV and on the wheel. And we are right now in Forza Horizon 6 FPV mode, triple 50-inch TV, Moza R12 and all the Moza gear. Alright, let's shred some tires. So, do you remember when I told you about left foot braking? It's possible on the gamepad now with this setup, but this setup lives and breathes left foot braking right now. As I said, tighten up around the corner to hit the inner clip. Clutch kick. Low power loves clutch kick. You gotta get used to it. This is... Oh, I hit the street light. I hit the light early on. I'm sorry about that. I forgot about that. LOL. So, yes, steering wheel. Everybody who had some sort of like a experience with Assetto Corsa gonna love this setup, gonna love this car. All right, so we flick out, zone, and full blast. Oi. Slightly overdone the left foot braking, and let's go. Initiation is getting bright. I love that post-apo vibe of this track. Max, slowing down, left foot, few clutch kicks, do not lose the drift. Clutch kick on the transition to make it a little bit more aggressive, but be careful with clutch kicks on the transitions. And do not overdo left foot braking. That's why it's lowered to 80%, because if you would be 100% and you would brake, probably you would spin out. A bit of a cheeky handbrake. Right, let's do the full roundabout. Yes, like that. And the zone. And another one. Flick out. Zone. Yes, and a bit of a left foot brake to not overshoot over here. And again, this is how it looks like shredding that 280 brake horsepower. Oh, nice drop. And let's go. And a bit of a left foot brake in to hit that inner and clutch kick. Yes, really as realistic as it possible. You can't get more than that. So if you're looking for some realism, damn it, it's for you. But if you want the crazy points, easy all-wheel drive drifts for Forza Horizon 6, well, you won't find it here. So, choice is yours. Having fun in the grassroots styles, which belongs in Japan, but we also cultivate it in Europe, or just go easy
drift setups and just download them tunes and shred them and just have fun your own way. Because I think drifting like that is the essence of what this game should be. Well, it's obviously a tiny bit more complex, and it requires real skills like, you know, clutch kicking, left foot braking, handbrake in a good moment, and doing a good transitions and not overdoing it. But guys, before I finish that video, I'll give you a good tip. So wherever you do aggressive transition, you want to let off the throttle for a moment till car stabilize, because if you just throw it and you are on the throttle all the time, well, here it's okay actually, but in those tighter corners and you're, you know, on a second gear, you might end up spinning out. So like now, I hope that you seen it, guys. I let off the throttle, get off your log. Like here, in a tight corners, you want to let off the throttle for a moment till the car stabilizes, because car in the drift is like a pendulum basically, and we want to hold it. So if we will flick to the other side and hold that power, this is what happens. But if we throw and we let the car achieve the maximum of pendulum, and this is where we catch it drifting, it's perfect. This is how it should be. Not when it's gaining angle, not when it's losing angle. We need a perfect timing and a perfect throttle control, and we can really have fun in the most realistic way possible in Forza Horizon 6. Oh, but it's an arcade game. Yes, I know, but when it's set up right and you do everything to increase your immersion like I did with my setup, but it doesn't mean that you cannot have fun on the gamepad, because I showed you, but I'm not the best at it. I'm much more better on the wheel, as you can see. Yeah, the realism is there. Choice is yours. The blue pill is this low power and as realistic as a possible setup, and the red pill is those over 1,000 brake horsepowers, all-wheel drive easy drift setups that you can download anytime, and they are tuned the way so you can control them as they are. And this is realism, and I will always go with that pill. Blue pill for the win. Yes. All right, so that was it. I hope that you enjoyed the video and you enjoyed the spot that I built. If you will get the right attention in the comment section, I might share the spot too. But for now, that was it, guys. I hope that now you will be able to tune any car in the most realistic way possible. Suggest in the comments what would you like to see on my channel, and see you in next episode.